Welcome to the 7th day of August, 2024. Heading into the downhill side of the week now. Happy hump day, by the way. We are going to be looking at the changes we talked about really commencing today. This is especially to you folks up north, as we are going to be looking at what is likely going to be a trend north to south, how the weather will evolve today. We're going to show you some fabulous photos, tons of photos pouring in last night from those clouds you're seeing in the picture there. Thanks, Landon, for sending that in. We're looking at more of these showers and thunderstorms along the front range areas of southern Wyoming and Colorado out into the plains, while the cold front advances out of Canada through Montana and northern Wyoming and the Dakotas today. And then we'll be reaching the central Rockies, central high plains areas tonight into Thursday and Friday. There's a lot of subtropical moisture, so we're going to have more of these showers and thunderstorms today like we did yesterday in the same areas. Temperatures still look to be significantly colder Thursday and Friday, especially tomorrow, but into Friday as well. There's going to be a big chunk of real estate in North America that's going to have much below average temperatures for a bit. The pattern's going to stay active. The combination of the cool front, subtropical moisture, is going to keep us in an active pattern of occasional showers and thunderstorms for a good solid week. So our fingers are crossed that many of you can get rain. It's going to be difficult to make everybody happy with the amount of rain that's coming, but we'll try our best. The day started off yesterday with an odd-looking cloud here near Orange Junction, probably due to some wave action coming off the mountains, causing a little bit of a turbulent eddy-like flow coming down east of the Laramie Range and Laramie Peak area yesterday. And then you may have noticed, nice shot here from Driggs, Idaho. Thanks, Dan, for sending that in. Look at that visibility. And the visibility really improved. Why? Well, you can see that a good chunk of Wyoming, just about all of Colorado, all of these areas right here, no smoke at all yesterday, and that's how we're waking up this morning. We're still getting plenty of fire smoke from Northern California and the Pacific Northwest, but the wind patterns are keeping it up there. We still have smoke in Canada, but not nearly as much. So we could see things. Boy, and could we see them yesterday evening. Mother Nature putting on quite the show last night across southeastern Wyoming, parts of northern Colorado and western Nebraska. We finally had good visibility, so we could see the structure and we could see the cloud buildup and what ended up being some pretty strong to severe thunderstorms in some areas yesterday. The cloud buildup was very impressive, growing tall. And look at that resolution. Look at that visibility we had. So nice to see that. Then that thunderstorm really blew up in extreme southeastern Wyoming, drifting in the northeastern Colorado and parts of southern Nebraska yesterday evening and last night. What's even better than this photo is a time lapse of this photo. You can see the cloud build up, how things form and come together, the rain shaft developing underneath it. And we saw that for a good period of time, late yesterday afternoon and evening, as that deep subtropical moisture. We had dew points in the middle to upper 50s. We had strong heating, and that was a classic high plains thunderstorm situation yesterday. Not only could you see this thunderstorm quite easily, but you could see it for miles. They're far west of Cheyenne. Beautiful sunset on that cumulonimbus cloud. And then in parts of Wyoming and the region, nice rainbows yesterday out in western Wyoming, the Star Valley Ranch area. Then a morning rainbow as they woke up to morning thunderstorms in western South Dakota yesterday morning before another round of thunderstorms came in last night. Some of you folks in northern Wyoming, western South Dakota getting some good rain over the last couple of days. This is why the subtropical moisture is pervasive. It's extensive from Mexico through the Great Basin, through the Rockies, into the Plain States, even subtropical moisture sitting off the coast of California. All of this moisture is going to be around. Is this going to be our last real big monsoonal push of the year? Maybe, maybe not. But when you look at the calendar, it's August 7th. We probably will get another one, but this is certainly the most impressive one of the season so far. So here's our subtropical moisture for the day today. We do have some drier air coming into western Wyoming and Idaho, but along and east of the Continental Divide, and then back into the western slope of Colorado, back into here, we've got plenty of moisture out on into the plains as well. So it's going to be an active day of afternoon and evening thunderstorms, especially here. We're probably going to end up with some severe weather. Thunderstorms very active on the mountain ranges of Colorado's central areas and western slope, back down into Arizona. Too cool up here for a lot of thunderstorm activity, but there will be rain along that frontal boundary. Now this is for tonight into tomorrow morning. This is from midnight to Thursday morning. We're going to have some nocturnal thunderstorms along the frontal boundary right here. So not only is it going to be an active afternoon, but overnight into parts of east central Wyoming, western Nebraska, into this area here, there's going to be some thunderstorms that may continue into the early Thursday morning hours. This is where the marginal risk of strong thunderstorms will be today. The pattern at 500 millibars, that high is smack dab on the four corners. You can see the low here that's coming out of south central Canada, the big high that's in parts of Alaska and the Northwest Territories. So one more day of heat, and you can see there's a dividing line, this pinkish red line. South of that line, it's going to be another hot day today. But north of that line, you are going to feel it being a much, much cooler day today. Now, I want to talk a little bit about what's going on up here. Now, you may have seen some news reports about being really very warm and hot on the north slope of Alaska and the Northwest Territories, and that's certainly true. If you look at the pattern, you can see why. The strong ridge of high pressure in northwest Canada, but look at the wind flow into Alaska. It's coming due south from the due south, almost to the due north, with this strong high pressure ridge right here. Now you may be thinking, well, if it's hot in Alaska, why is it getting cold here? Well, this is how it works, and this is something that really happens during the course of the winter. When it gets warm in Alaska and the Gulf of Alaska and into this part of the world here, remember there's always a displacement of air masses. As high pressure builds up here, you're going to displace the air that was once here and put it somewhere else. So it seems counterintuitive, but when it gets warmer than normal in Alaska and Northwest Canada, it gets colder than average down there because the normal air mass that's going to be sitting up here gets displaced. And you can really see it here. So this is for late this afternoon. You have this big temperature anomaly here, while it's the opposite here. So this is what happens. The opposite happens. When it's really cold up here, the displacement is different, and you tend to get the other anomaly, the warmer anomaly, here. So it goes both ways. But you always want to watch up here a lot of times to find out what's going to be happening down here. And this is a really good example of what's going on. So by tomorrow, we have the suppression of the low further east and south. The cooler air is going to leak down along the front range and east of the divide, while the clockwise flow of subtropical moisture around the high converges everything together right there. This is by 6 p.m. tonight. So the cold front gets about to the Cheyenne Ridge, the panhandle of Nebraska. Look at those temperatures during the day today in Montana, North Dakota, and across southern Canada. So look at the contrast. So you're going to be in the 90s, mid to upper 90s, even some 100s in eastern Colorado. Southern Wyoming, the I-80 corridor is going to be hot. But look at the temperatures up here. These are the temperatures by late afternoon and evening, only in the 60s. So by tomorrow, the cold air spills south of the Palmer Divide, getting into the Oklahoma and Texas panhandles. This is a very cool air mass for August. Look at these temperatures by 6 p.m. tomorrow. This is a lot of real estate where temperatures are going to be far below average, much, much cooler, under a deck of clouds. And right along the interface of the Continental Divide and east of the divide, there's going to be rain. And this is the temperature anomaly on Friday. Temperatures Friday will be quite similar to what they're going to be on Thursday. Plenty of heat, though, on the other side of the front from the deserts of California and the southwest United States and across Texas. So quite the contrast. Along the contrast is where your activity is going to be for showers and thunderstorms. And if you look at a perspective of the U.S., this is a very impressive cool down that'll go through the upper plains, the Midwest, the Corn Belt. It'll go across the Great Lakes and into the northeastern United States. And that's going to help expel what's left of Debbie out into the ocean later on. By Monday, the subtropical moisture isn't going anywhere. It's still in place. So we're going to continue having these showers and thunderstorms. This is over the next 7 days, the precipitation potential. Keep in mind with the models, especially with thunderstorms, they don't do great on pinpointing exactly how much rain is going to fall, so only use this as a guide. But you can see that the modeling, and all the modeling sees this, really wants to have a lot of activity of showers and thunderstorms in this region here. And there's a lot of this region right here that could really use the rain, especially right here. And then especially, this is going to be really good rain for southwest and central and western areas of Colorado. So let's hope that all comes together. Have yourself a good Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow.